Karine Jean Pierre absolutely rage quits after Peter Doocy calls her out for calling Donald Trump a threat.
2 days since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again. And you're here at the podium in the White House briefing room calling him a threat. How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question, the question that you're asking. It is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it, because American people are watching. And to say that from an administration who has consistently condemned political violence, from an administration where the president called the former president and was thankful, grateful that he was okay, from an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of Paul Pelosi. You had more than 2,000 people who were told to go to the Capitol. It was one of the darkest days of our democracy, one of the darkest days. There were people law enforcement officers who died because of what happened at the Capitol. And they were there because the former president told them to go there. I mean, I don't know if that's not a threat in our democracy when it was one of the darkest days of our democracy, January 6th. One of the darkest days.
The audacity on that woman to say what she just said. First of all, only one person died that day on January 6th, and it was a Trump supporter. It was completely out of bounds. She should have never been shot. And number two, all that Donald Trump said was, we walked to the Capitol and peacefully and patriotically protest. He never called for violence. Donald Trump, while he was president, he denounced violence time and time again. How many times does he have to do this? Meanwhile, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they just have a dangerous rhetoric regarding Donald Trump. It's the Democratic machine in the mainstream media. You see Joy Behar cutting up Donald Trump's head. You see Kamala Harris going on Ellen DeGeneres saying if she was in a room with Donald Trump, only one of them would walk out alive. You see stuff like this on a day-to-day basis, and you're claiming that Donald Trump is the one with the dangerous rhetoric and not you guys? It's been only 2 days since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again, and you're at the podium in the White House calling him a threat. I love it. He's calling him out right to her face. He's calling him out. How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than a threat? And then she gets irate. She goes absolutely crazy. Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question. The question that you're asking is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it, because American people are suffering. And to say that from an administration who has consistently condemned political violence, from an administration where the president called the former president and was thankful, grateful that he was okay, from an administration who was called out on January 6th, called out on the attack against Pelosi. It should have never happened to begin with, because Donald Trump wanted the National Guard there, and Nancy Pelosi rejected it.
Donald Trump blamed President Biden and Vice President Harris for the latest assassination attempt against him. He claimed, without evidence, that their rhetoric is causing him to be, quote, shot at. How is the White House responding to those comments?
Well, I love that you added without evidence, because I want to be very clear here. The president and the vice president have always forcefully condemned violence in all forms, including political violence, and we certainly have never encouraged any violence in any way. If anything, this is a president and a vice president has been pretty forceful about that, you know. when it comes to differences in issues and policies, we believe that there should be a conversation. There was a debate just last week, right? There should be a conversation and a back and forth about that, a healthy conversation. And it's crucial that we do that. And the president has also said, when it comes to, violent rhetoric, we got to bring the temperature down. You heard that directly from this president. And it is not the time to tear Americans apart. We cannot do that or divide our country. The president and the vice president is always going to call that out. But they have been very clear, very forceful on condemning any form of political violence.
Just to clarify, so you're saying that the president and vice president believe that former President Donald Trump should be toning down his rhetoric?
So I'll say this. President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy. He's been clear-eyed about that. From his role, let's not forget, from his role of January 6th, where he refused to accept the outcomes of free and fair elections. Look what happened on that day. Some of you were there at the Capitol. Some of you have colleagues who were there at the Capitol, reported and saw what happened. 2,000 angry people went there to try to overturn a free and fair election. And so it's not going to stop the president and the vice president to call out, to continue to strongly call out, when it comes to protecting our democracy. We have to be forceful about that.
Right after Donald Trump gets another assassination attempt. This is crazy. And also, they say they never were against political violence. Do you not remember the 2020 BLM riots? She was bailing people out of prison who were protesting. They believe the rhetoric of Biden and Harris, and he acted on it. Their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at when I am the one who's going to save this country. They're the ones destroying the country, both inside and out. Nail on the head, right there. Donald Trump is always asking for non-violence. He has never once incited violence.
The fallout from this second attempted assassination of President Donald Trump. No sooner had that second assassination attempt been tried and thankfully foiled by alert Secret Service agents, the Trump campaign put out a screenshot of comments made by Democrats that clearly have been inciting violence against the former premier. We've got the former president. We've got numbers of them here, and you can see Kamala Harris said we've got to recognise Trump is a threat. Joe Biden has said it's time to put Trump in a bullseye. Biden also said MAGA Republicans are a threat to the very soul of this country. On it goes.
Pages and pages.
Pages and pages of receipts from Democrats who clearly have been ramping up this rhetoric. And is it any surprise that people have taken them at their word and thought, well, if Trump's a threat to the democracy, if he's a threat to the world, we better do something about it. But no one's learned their lesson. Have a look at Hillary Clinton. This is after the second attempt on Trump's life. She went on TV and she said this.
Journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump, his demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it. They were merciless about what they saw as President Biden's, problems in the debate.
These people have no shame. Within hours of a second attempt on Trump's life, Clinton goes on television calling him a demagogue and dangerous. It's almost like she's trying to goad a third assassination attempt.
Well, of course. Well, they've been goading it for this long. Why would they give up the game now, for heaven's sake? And it's Andrew Bolt pointed out earlier this evening that every attempt on a president's life in his lifetime has been committed by someone of the left. And the left always goes on about, it's the danger of the right, it's the danger of Donald Trump. Well, we pull out the receipts. It ain't the danger of the right that's causing this. It is the danger of the left. They refuse to admit it because they would actually prefer to see Donald Trump dead than in the White House again, and they will do anything possible to encourage that and then wipe their hands of it afterwards.
Just before we go to the break, got to show you this headline from The Atlantic. Let's listen to this. Donald Trump is using another possible attempt on his life to inflame tensions in America. So when even they take a shot at Trump, Trump is the bad guy for being shot at.
I told you before, these people are deranged. How are we allowing these people to represent us in Washington, D.C.? When it comes to Hillary Clinton, that girl should be on her hands and knees thanking Donald Trump. Because I'll tell you what, most people in Trump's position, he would have followed through on his threat to lock her up, because she has committed treasonous acts against the United States, and she has yet to be held accountable for it. Donald Trump's reasoning for not putting an independent prosecutor on her in 2016 is he wanted to heal this country. He wanted to bring us all together, which is the complete opposite of what they want. They want us divided. They want Donald Trump gone because he is the great uniter, believe it or not. Back in 2020, before COVID, January, February, and even late 2019, America was thriving in almost every single metric. We have never been so united. We were never so united. And Donald Trump even says, when you have more money in your pockets, when there's not war flaming on all around you, when there's no crime in the street, people are going to be a lot happier. People are going to be better to each other, and they'll recognize that Donald Trump is not this evil monster that the media depicts him to be. And we were so close to achieving that in 2020. That's why we have to finish the job come November and come out in droves to support this man. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. What do you think? If you were Donald Trump, would you have prosecuted Hillary Clinton back in 2016, or would you have let her go like he did? Let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts on that. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Until next time.